everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to be doing the commentary / analysis for episode 2 of Miraculous Ladybug season 5, Multiplication. Now, 3 things before we go on with this video. First of all, Hayes, where are you? The room isn't pink. Yes. If you watch my evolution commentary all the way to the end, I said at the end I'm actually going to be on holiday this week. So this is where I'm staying on holiday. It's a little bit echoey, but I'll try and sort it out when I edit. There are also ducks in a pond outside the window, and I'm hoping they'll be quiet, and if they do quack, I can cover it up with the sound of me talking and the music. So if you hear any quacking or any other noises, we're staying on a farm. It's not me, it's the farm making the noises. And concerning the holiday, having a great time, by the way. Guess who forgot her camera charger? So if towards the end of this video I have to switch to my phone, the end of the video might be on my phone instead, so apologies for the drop in quality you'll get if the battery runs out. Second thing, I'm about to spoil the entire episode for you, so if you haven't seen it yet, please check the description box for some places where you can go and see it, but please know those links will eventually expire as videos get taken down for copyright. And the third thing I want to say before we get into the video is I have not read the show Bible, nor do I intend to, and I want to keep it that way until the end of the season. So if you have read the Bible, great. However, I'm going to be speculating in this video about certain things we see in the episode. I don't want the people who read the Bible to confirm or deny or even say maybe to anything I mention. Please don't. Or don't even say as well, like, oh Hayes, you really love the Love Square, you're going to enjoy episode whatever. Those things ruin the experience of the show for me. If you can't leave a comment without mentioning the show Bible and what you thought of it in any way, shape or form, I just rather you didn't comment at all. It might sound a bit harsh, but I really don't want to know anything. I want to experience the show like I usually do, with a couple of trailers and a synopsis and my own theories, everyone else's theories. I don't want to know for certain. Sorry. Okay, so let's get into it. Quick thoughts. 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this. I didn't film a reaction video just because there's nowhere here that's really appropriate to film a reaction video, and I also forgot my charger. I wouldn't have had enough charge to film both of these, so I think most people prefer this video, so I went with this one. But I really enjoyed it last night. I was watching it in Portuguese, obviously. I don't know any Portuguese, but I was really enjoying myself. I love the continuation. That's one of the things I love. It's what I've wanted from Miraculous for ages. The referencing back to other episodes, not the whole of this episode, but at least like the first chunk of this episode. So part of Risk, all of Strike Back, technically all of Evolution apart from the time travel parts, and part of this episode all in one day. Like parts of 4 episodes all in one day. I absolutely just love that. In general, I also loved like the memories Marinette had of the Kwamis, and it showed how isolated she was feeling. I love the feelings explored in this episode. The same with Adrien and Felix. I love the stuff with Nathalie, the stuff with Amelie, the stuff with Felix, the Adrienette. There were so many good things. I only really have one complaint about the Adrienette, which I'll get into later. So yeah, I loved the continuation, and I love the fact that Ladybug and Cat Noir are using their brains. They immediately talk about Felix, and then Su-Han arrives. Now I had expected to see him in the first episode, and I was feeling a bit like, after Evolution, because he hadn't shown up, you know, pretty much immediately. If I had been Su-Han, I would have been there as soon as I saw the Monarch thing in the sky. I would have gone to find him. So I was a bit like in Evolution, like, where is he? You know what I mean? However, this is still technically the same day, so I was like, okay, I can forgive it for that. Hence why I really like this continuation. And I loved that they stood up to him. However, what I love more is that Cat Noir went first. You could look at it, like in that scene, if you look at the differences between their facial expressions, Ladybug's just a bit like, she's kind of neutral, looking a bit sad, but largely neutral. Whereas Cat Noir, he looks not angry, but like he's ready to defend it. You can see him getting a bit like, you went here to help us. Not that this is your fault, but you didn't help the situation either. However, I did feel like him collapsing and crying in front of them was a bit too much. That was just a bit like, Okay, whatever, Su-Han. And part of me does kind of like the excuse that he was distracted by the modern world. If he was alive with Fu, which was be like over 100 years ago now, none of this would have existed. So whilst I do kind of understand it, I'm also a bit like, I don't 100% buy it, but it's not like an episode ruiner for me, because to me Su-Han's such a minor character. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But like he says, he is right, he should have helped them, and then he goes off to Tibet to use a different Miraculous to travel through time by the sounds of things, which is interesting, because I always thought each miracle box was completely different. I mean, at the minute we've only seen the Chinese miracle box, which is the one in Paris, and the American miracle box, which is the one in the New York special, and the Miraculouses in those miracle box, as much as we know about the American one, are completely different. So I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be fun. I am hoping for previous Ladybug and cat noirs, or previous Ladybug holders and previous cat holders, to come back and help them. That'd be so cool. Like, we've heard a lot about past Ladybugs, but I don't believe we've really heard anything about past cat noirs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I remember the Joan of Arc Ladybug, I don't remember her name, it was in the Egyptian exhibit, like back in season 1. There were loads of different ones, but I don't remember ever hearing about more than one cat holder other than cat noir. I know there must have been, but I don't remember. You know what I mean? But I absolutely love the idea, and I hope they execute it well, whenever that may be. So now let's talk briefly about Felix. We'll cycle back to him at the end of the video. I like to do my commentaries. If it's your first time here, I usually like to do them in chronological order of things that happened in the episode. So I do really like the fact that they, I guess, use their common sense to be like, okay, well, if Felix has done this, him and Monarch at the very least have interacted. They didn't go so far as to say he must know Monarch's identity, because I think that would have been too big a leap, and whilst we all know that, I think it's too far for them to assume, which I was very happy with. However, when they googled him, it says he has graduated high school. Now this is like a Sentimonster thing, okay, so just bear with me. So as some of you are aware, or hopefully most of you from my accent, I am British English to be precise, and whilst I didn't go to school in London, presumably where Felix did, I went to school in the north of England, and schools are pretty much the same up and down the country. Now I know for other countries high school is different. I know in America, I'm pretty sure you leave high school at 18, right? In the UK we either leave at 15 or 16, and all the British people are like, 15 or 16, what are you talking about? Okay, so year 11, we call them years, not grades. You finish high school when you're 16 in year 11, that's the last year of school. However, because my birthday is in August, I actually finished high school and got my exam results and enrolled in college when I was still 15. So the academic year starts in the UK in September, runs until like halfway through July, then July and August are the summer holidays, and then it's the school year at the start of September again, like it is in Harry Potter, right? It's the same school year as in Harry Potter. So I'd have the whole school year, all of summer, my birthday, and then a week later I'd start back at school. So you can finish high school at 15 in this country, depending when you were born. So I finished high school when I was 15. However, the older people in the year who are born in like September and stuff will finish high school when they are 16. So whether Felix is 15 or 16, depending when his birthday is, it means he is older than Adrien. So, Sentimonster stuff. I've always said that either both boys are Sentimonsters or the younger boy is a Sentimonster, because they base the younger boy's appearance on the older boy. So I think either both of them are Sentimonsters, or Felix is real and they based Adrien on him. Maybe, I don't know, I need to think this through a bit more, because I do really believe Felix is a Sentimonster. I think both boys are, but I think Felix was created first. Adrien, as we know from the Bubbler, is only 14 years old, and Felix, in order to have finished high school, at the very least, depending on his birthday, needs to be 15, if not 16. He has to be 15 or 16, so he is older than Adrien. Even if he's 15, he's still older than Adrien. However, just back to general analysis. I did find it really funny that they said graduate high school. We don't really graduate in the UK You just finish your last exam and they're like, oh, you're done? Now get out. We don't really graduate here. We graduate from university, but that's the only thing we really graduate from. Like, you finish the exams and then you just leave. There's no graduation. We just go home and that's it. We don't graduate. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, if you didn't know, and most of my viewers aren't British, you will finish high school at 16, or depending on your birthday, like me, you will finish high school at 15, which means Felix is older than Adrien. I don't know if they just didn't think that through. I don't know what age you finish high school in France. I'm not sure. But yeah, Felix is either 15 or 16, which I feel is important. Maybe I'm wrong though. I also really loved the sequence in London going around Big Ben, and before anyone asks, yes, I know it's not that big. It's actually called Elizabeth Tower, but the bell inside is absolutely humongous, which is called Big Ben, but for whatever reason everyone just calls it Big Ben as if the tower's called that. It's not, it's called the Elizabeth Tower. Anyway, but I thought it looked amazing. I love the scene with Amelie, and oh my god, afterwards, the scene in the clouds. Great. And one thing I loved about that scene, other than it looked beautiful, was that they weren't automatically assuming that Felix was evil. I know Amelie says at the end that she was like worried that the superheroes thought he was working with a villain, and while she is correct, I don't feel that Ladybug and Cat Noir jumped to that conclusion, because they were saying, oh, he could have been manipulated by Monarch in some way. I love that they were kind of not making out he was entirely innocent, but that there's more to the story that they just don't know, which I was really kind of happy about, to be honest. Then the next scene, oh my god, Gabriel doing work. That was okay, I've never actually seen him do anything before in my life, so I was like, oh, okay. But now, let's talk about the Adrienette. First thing that disturbed me. Why on earth was Alia wearing flip-flops in Marinette's bed? I don't know, because they were flip-flops, not slippers. I know Marinette's worn slippers in her bed before, but Alia was wearing flip-flops. Why are you wearing shoes on someone else's bed, girl? What's that about? I don't know. So, the Adrienette part now. So, I really agreed with the statement that Marinette was like, I don't know Adrien well enough, because she kept mistaking him for someone else. And whilst I feel that she was right in that moment, I also feel like it's a very loaded comment, because in truth she really doesn't know Adrien. Out of all of their friends, yeah, she probably does know him the best. However, I feel like Adrien's true personality lies somewhere between who he is as Adrien and who he is as Cat Noir. And while she knows both sides of each boy, she doesn't know they're the same boy. So I was like, ooh, that's a cool foreshadowing comment. I love that. Also, Alia was very interesting in that scene as well, because obviously she picks up the FaceTime call first, and Adrien's like, I no longer want to be a model, I told my father about it. If you remember back in Risk, Alia in the cafeteria was like, Marinette, we don't believe you, you're just doing this because of Lila. So I was like, are you gonna apologise for that? Like, Alia still hasn't apologised. It's bugged me all last season. She still hasn't apologised for the Lila stuff. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, this is a little bit I have a bit of an issue with concerning Adrien. Now, if you've seen the majority of my commentaries before, and if you've seen pretty much any of my screaming sessions, you'll know that I've always said for ages that I have believed Adrien has had a crush on Marinette for ages, from Origins, from Despair Bear, from Guilt Trip, from where he's had a crush on. Like in New York, why would you dance with someone like that if you didn't have a crush on them? So whilst I have always believed he has had a crush on Marinette, I have also always believed that Adrien just didn't know yet because of his feelings for Ladybug and because of what happened on that first day of school. So he has them, but he doesn't know. And whilst I like the direction this was heading in, I felt like it was kind of like a setup for proper Love Square reversed as the season went on, which I'm hoping we're gonna see. So I liked the initial setup, but I did feel that it was maybe a bit too much. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the scene where Adrien's led there. It's like a direct parallel of Ephemeral. Johnny goes to sleep and he like hangs up on her and he's like good night, and he sleeps really peacefully and stuff. Like, it was lovely, don't get me wrong, I loved it, it was very cute. But for me, I feel like it was a bit too much. I feel like they could have pulled back on it a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, it needed to happen and I like that it was happening, but I feel like they needed to pull back on it just a touch, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. Like, it was a good start to the setup, but I think they could have brought it back just a little bit. Another thing I loved, and I'm sorry by the way if you didn't like the episode, but as you can tell, I really liked it, was the part with Nathalie. I was kind of like, Gabriel and Nathalie, you're not going to talk, although I think with that in this episode it would have been rushed, so I didn't mind so much, but they need to talk at some point. Everyone in the show needs to have a good chat with each other, to be honest. The way she came in to check on Adrien to show that she really cares for him and that she's starting to realise kind of how truly awful Gabriel is, which I absolutely love. Does this mean Nathalie is still going to be his assistant but not help with the akuma stuff? Or is she leaving completely? I really don't know. I kind of want to do a theory video surrounding Nathalie, but I've got so many outfits to review now, I don't know when I'm going to have the time. The outfits of the show are going to haunt me forever. Okay, so now let's talk about the Alex part in class, or rather Alex's dad. And I guess it's a good way to get around it and just tell everyone what she's doing. But you just told everyone who has arguably the most powerful, or one of the most powerful Miraculouses. Even if they defeat Monarch, we already know from Time Tagger there's going to be a new Hawkmoth. And I'm sure new Hawkmoth, who I do by the way think is Lila, I've always thought it's Lila, like Time Tagger really heavily hinted at it. So let's assume it is Lila. She's just been told that Alex has the Bunny Miraculous. So even after they defeat Gabriel and Alex can come back, what's to stop presumably Lila, new Hawkmoth, from taking it from Alex? Does this mean Alex is never going to be safe? I was a bit like, okay, that's a bit of a strange move. Why don't you just say like, oh yeah, we just sent her off to school in Spain for a few months or something. I don't know. Anyway, Miss Bustier, she's pregnant! I was so happy last night. Never have I ever been this more excited to see somebody pregnant before. I was, beside myself. It was great. However, speaking of Lila, just back to her a minute, I did actually really agree with her in this class. So Chloe's like, oh, Ladybug and Cat Noir are so irresponsible, they lost all the Miraculous, which I was kind of hoping for, because I would speculated, I think in my Strike Back video, that I was hoping some people in Paris would be like, oh, you're irresponsible or whatever. However, then Lila says she doesn't really believe, I think she was lying, but I still agreed with her. She doesn't think it was that bad because Ladybug is a child and she's been given a mission for an adult, and I was like, I can get behind that. So that was weird. I also really liked the montage. Ferry, one of the ambassadors, confirmed that Kagami's mum, Tomoe, does know that Gabriel is Monarch, which obviously makes sense looking at how the episode ends between the two of them. That's great. And I also was very happy that I was right about Marinette starting to get over Adrien due to how busy she's going to be trying to get the Miraculouses back, and with the trauma associated with Felix. I think it was in my video I did with Miraculously Lazy. We talked about it and I was like, she's not going to have time for boys. She's going to start to try and get over him, and he's going to finally realise what she means to him. And by then, well, I don't think it's going to be too late. I think it's going to be fine. I just wish they pared back on it a little bit in this episode. I liked it, don't get me wrong, it was sweet, as you know, I love the love square, so I just wish they'd pull back on it a little bit, you know? So now let's talk about the Akuma attack. And first of all, the first thing I loved from this Akuma attack was how supportive Cat Noir was in it. He was great of her, like Ladybug immediately was like, last time we faced Ikari Gozen, we had Ryuku, we had the Dragon Miraculous, we don't have that now. It was really easy to defeat her with that, and Cat Noir's like, it's fine, we're a team, we got this. And then when she gets flicked by Ikari Gozen, instead of just letting her get up on her own, which is what they usually do, he runs to her right away to make sure she's okay. Amazing. Absolutely love him, although they definitely do still need to talk about everything that happened. However, I feel like due to everything that has happened, I feel like Ladybug should have maybe stumbled a bit more in this fight. Only like a tiny bit more, not so much more, but like this is the first Akuma attack in a few weeks by the sounds of things. So she's out of practice and she's also lost her confidence. So I think I personally would have liked just one more instance of her struggling a bit and Cat Noir being like, hey, it's okay, you got this, you know what I mean? Okay, so now let's talk about the rings and this prototype. So obviously we'll find out later on after this that the rings are going to be like some sort of like, I guess like a communication device, help device on your finger rather than on your phone. Okay, whatever. However, it also seems that the Miraculous has been somehow, I guess I don't know, been shaped into a ring. I didn't realise you could change the form of them like that. I'm sure it's going to be explained to us. But right now I'm just kind of intrigued to think about it. I'm not sure I want to know yet, so I didn't mind it not being explained in the episode. So that's what seems to be going on. But I was like, okay, so it's a Miraculous, it's a prototype. And it seems that because Tomoe didn't have the actual Mouse Miraculous, the necklace, that the ring she was wearing was that. However, I'm trying to wrap my head around it a bit because that was the only thing she was wearing, so surely that was the Mouse Miraculous. However, she was able to communicate with Gabriel on it afterwards. Now, we know you can communicate with people through usually your Miraculous's weapon, for example the yo-yo, the baton, the flute, whatever. We know you can. So how can it be both of those things? How can you have the Miraculous be the ring but also be a communication device afterwards? I would like it explaining. For now I am happy to speculate about it, so I wasn't mad it wasn't in this episode. But I was like, okay, I'd love to know all your thoughts on the rings, by the way. That's the thing intriguing me the most from this episode, which I think probably the same for most of you. It's really, really intriguing. So I was like, okay. Interesting. When Ladybug and Cat Noir are going to find out that these are the Miraculouses instead, I don't know. I am a little sad because I like the other ones, so hopefully she can get them back. I don't know. I like all the cool jewellery instead of just a load of rings. It's sad. And then I was talking to Edward before. Honestly, Edward at this point is literally like my assistant. If you don't know who Edward is, he's one of my mods on Discord and on YouTube. He's a great friend of mine. We were talking briefly last night about it, and he had an idea that maybe anyone who gets the ring, it's called Alliance, I've already forgotten the name of it, and is wearing it can maybe become some sort of villain for Hawkmoth, kind of, oh sorry, for Monarch. I guess kind of the way I was imagining it, a bit like the Scarlet Akumas in Heroes Day. That would be interesting. I'm not sure yet though, but I thought it was a cool idea. However, okay, I like the way Gabriel has taken Adrien out of modelling by having him do this AI thing, even though I didn't know what it was. So that way he's gonna be like a, I guess in a way, a model forever without having to do anything. But also at the same time, it's also like a nightmare. Like we've like got 3 Adriens now. We've got the actual Adrien, we've got Felix, and now we've got an AI version of him. It's too much, and Marinette's gonna die if she gets one. I hope she doesn't get one though. That would be a bit weird. Can you imagine if she gets one and I don't know if they come preloaded in with the AI and she gets one with Lila? That would be amazing. However, Daddy aggressed. That outfit, not my favourite outfit, but he looked good in it. He has really great legs. Gabriel, can I have your legs? I'm jealous. Okay, I'm probably about as tall as you, so we could trade them dead easy. You can have mine. Alright, I've got really wide hips and thick thighs, and I will trade them for your legs any day of the week. So now let's talk about the final part of the episode with Felix. So first of all, I absolutely love that Amelie served in some tea. Obviously Felix, even though it turns out his dad is American, which could maybe play into the Miracle Box stuff, the American Miracle Box, and I'll have to think about it more. But even though he is half American, he is obviously feeling his British side more because Amelie served him some tea. Very stereotypical. We love to see it. However, I did find it kind of sad when Dusu came out and was like, oh, where's Nathalie? Felt so bad for him. Dusu's been through so much. Dusu and Nuru. Justice for those 2 Konamis, please. However, then Felix says like, I'm more than just your holder. I was like, does that mean because he's a senti monster, he's more than just a holder because of that? Because Dusu created him? Not sure, not sure. Whilst I do kind of believe the show is heavily hinting all the senti monster stuff, particularly last week in Evolution, I still don't feel like it's confirmed it fully. But anyway, so overall I would give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a full 10 out of 10 is because I would have liked to have seen Ladybug stumble a bit more, and I would have liked them to pull back a little bit on the Adrienette. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, but I feel like it was a little bit out of place. It was a bit too much too soon. They should have pulled back just the tiniest bit on it, to be honest, just the tiniest bit. However, they did pack so much into this episode. The pacing was absolutely amazing. I thought it was great, and honestly, I'm not really sure who to give the MVP to. Like, Marinette was great, Adrien was great, Alia was great. I don't know, who would you give the MVP to? That's kind of what I mainly want to know about. Who would you give the MVP to? The rings, what do you think? And Adrienette, thoughts? Was it too much too soon, or do you think it was enough? But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. Even though I watched it last night in Portuguese, I had a smile on my face the whole time. Really enjoyed it, even though I had no clue what was going on. I was like, yes, this is great. Yeah, it was great. Thankfully there's no episode on next week because I need a break. I'm so tired. I am really tired. But yeah, I really liked the episode. Like I said, please don't confirm or deny or say maybe to anything I said in this video if you have read the show Bible. Don't want to know about it. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say, and I will see you all next time. Bye!